Hey everybody, we're going to be doing a unboxing, review, and installation of the Sumpless ATO system from XPAqua. The reason I chose this one was because it's not only an auto top-off system, with the optical sensor, it also has a backup sensor. But the second reason is that it is also a overflow. It doubles as a skimmer, and it's also got the dual optical sensors, just in case one goes out. You have the backup, so you're going to have your reservoir of water that's got the pump, and then obviously in your tank is the ATO system with the little sensor. So as you can see, my tank is low on water right now. We will be leveling off this freshwater aquarium. All right, so the unboxing. So I think this is your adapter or pump and power supply, skimmer unit itself, which is the bulk of the equipment. Then it comes with some hosing, tubing that you can use if you don't want to use your own. The actual sensor itself, and a long enough cable, I guess, to get to it, and then the other little pump that goes in the bottom. Of course, instruction manual, clamp. Okay, so looking at the instructions here, it looks like we're going to be installing the reverse pump right here in the middle of the page and the bottom of the overflow box. So I want to share something. There's two pumps. There's actually this pump that will end up, that's wrapped separately, will end up going in your water reservoir. And then there's a little pump inside the bottom of this overflow box, and that's called the flexi pump or the reversible pump. So don't get them mixed up. This one that's wrapped separately has some little tube elbow connectors with it. And then the other one is inside the overflow box. Okay, so we've opened up the overflow box, and at this point you've got on the left, those are two little magnets on the cover, and then the overflow box itself on the right, and then some little dividers up there on the top. I wanted to show you the difference between these two pumps. Not only do they have different model numbers, so one of mine says DP280 and the other says DP200, but the DP280 on the left here is the reversible pump. This is the one that's going to go inside this overflow box, and the one that's wrapped is the one that's going to go inside. That just has one outlet, so you can see right there, just a single outlet. Is going to go inside my water reservoir. So here's the interesting thing with this little pump here that has the dual outlets and inlets. It doesn't go facing downward like you would think. So you would think that these suction feet would go on one of the walls, like on the bottom there. Because if you put it on the bottom, then the outlet on the back or the side wouldn't connect. Okay, so there it is. So you've got the feet pointing out the back, and I'll zoom out here. It kind of looks weird, but I've got the feet pointed out the back there, and I've got the water intake valve. If it needs to pull water in, it'll be out pointing to the left there, and you can see that the other one is pushed in to that little hole in the front. Okay, so now you want to install one of these little barriers, little dividers, and then you're going to install the filtration rock itself, and then the other divider. So the first divider, it just goes in like this, and it doesn't really secure, it's just loose. Gravity's going to hold it down. And then go ahead and put in your filtration rock or whatever this thing is. And then the other one, you'll see there's a little notch here in the middle, and there's a piece of plastic down there that'll hold it in place. Okay, so now that that's fully installed, it should look like this. Okay, so at this point now, we're just going to put the back that's over here on the right side with those two magnets at the top and these two little fins. We're just going to install that directly back on the back of this overflow box. All right, the back went back on. It snapped in pretty well. I had to make sure that the power cable was all the way at the edge so it didn't interfere with the little fins on the back of the box. And as you can see, my power cable is now coming up through that little clamp and over the side there. Okay, so now at this point we're going to take our magnet and we're going to mount it on the tank. It doesn't mount on with screws or anything, it just holds on magnetically. Okay, so if you're like me, it took me a couple times reading to understand where all the plugs go. So the power supply has this little fork thing. The thing that you have coming out of your overflow box goes into the female of this one. The one coming out of the power supply that's a male goes into the left side of this little thing. Okay, there's 2 power plugs here, so we want to plug that into the left side. So that's in the left side, and we did that one. Now the right side, that plug is from the pump that's in your reservoir. So we've got this other pump, right? This other one that just has the one outlet on it, or inlet outlet, right? We're gonna plug in that power supply to the right side of this. So that's how it goes. Just to recap, the female on the power supply plugs into what's coming out of your overflow box. And then the left side from the power supply goes in here, and the right side is coming from your pump that is going in your water reservoir. So as you can see, I've got my filter on the right, and so what I did is I put my ATO over here on the left. And what that's going to do is kind of be in the back, out of the way. Again, it just connects with this magnet here, so there's no suction cups or anything like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mount this inside the back of the overflow box. So if you see here, you want to be about 1/4 inch below those overflow holes. So I'm assuming this little blue part, the flat blue part on the back, is magnetic. These are the sensors, and so you want to mount it with the cable facing up, and you want this to be on one of the magnets. So let's just look here real quick, see if it will magnetize. Oh, yes it does. So it magnetized right onto there. And is that about 1/4 inch low? I'm gonna just say yes. Let's see. I can't really see it looking through the top of the holes there, so I'm just gonna assume, sure, 1/4 inch below. Now this is where we'll plug in those different plugs here. I'll just hang this off the side for now. You want to secure this cable, so I'm gonna push this little guy into here. I may have to push it down a little bit more. Push it down. Okay. So now both sensors are pointed directly into my tank, I guess what do you call it, perpendicularly into the tank. If one sensor is off or malfunctioning, the next one should catch it. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm going to fill up my Rhody water. This is reverse osmosis distilled water, RODI, or AKA Rhody. A lot of freshwater hobbyists don't use this, but I did a lot of saltwater stuff, and you really need Rhody water for controllability of your water quality and nutrients. So once you really use Rhody, you don't really go back, if that's a phrase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in my 5-gallon. So that's going to fill up, and that'll be my reservoir, and then I can just swap it out with another 5-gallon when it empties out. Okay, so it's really important if you make your own Rhody water. RODI water is 0 TDS, so 0 total dissolved solids, completely pure water, nothing in it, which is fantastic for controllability. But if you're running an aquarium, you need to remineralize, and I run a freshwater aquarium. And so what I want to do is I want to remineralize. This is Brightwell Aquatics, the remineralize product. And what it does is you only have to do half a cap for every 5 gallons. And what that gives me is all the minerals and nutrients I need for my freshwater aquarium. And it's fantastic in this bottle. And this bottle lasts for like over a month or two. So it's great. Okay, now that's all there is to it. Now this will be my reservoir water source that will pump up into my tank. Okay, so this is a temporary setup outside of my unit just to make sure things are working correctly. So what you've got here is the pump down there with a tube coming up. You've got this divider, and you see the divider's leaking. It's supposed to do that. As long as you have the divider angled the right way with the fin pointed down, or I guess small side up, large side down on the fin, you'll get water leaking out. It needs to be above the water level. So you don't want that valve way down here in the water or it won't work. You want it, above the water level. So, and then this is pumping water directly up to the system. And you can see right there is where water comes out. So if you look here, the overflow is going into it right there, and the sensor is covered, so it doesn't need to fill up anymore. But I'm guessing, since I have an open top aquarium, that this will fill. This will probably be on and off 5 or 6 times a day, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. I'm going to try to initiate it. I'm going to pull this sensor higher. See if it turns on. And then I'm going to pull it up a little more just to really get it out of the water. Yep, pump just turned on. Okay, and there's the water coming in. So you can see right there the water filling up the tank, and then it comes out the hole. I don't know if you can see that down there. But that's how it works. Eventually what I'm going to do with this here, this setup here, is get a top that has an extension out and then a converter down. So that way it can just be a straight tube up to the top and then another tube coming out of here. So I don't have to have this open and all sideways, and that way I can keep my my valve from going down too deep as well. So you might see drips coming out. That's good, that's normal. You can read in the manual, it says it'll do that. And I just put this wire around the cables to keep them together. You don't have to do that. But I'm just gonna leave that there so nothing gets in it. And then if it's working for another week or so, you see now it stopped the water. It's high enough. I'm gonna push this back down. See how it reacts. I actually want my water level higher. So you can see how there's no glass here. I'm gonna go down in my tank, push this whole thing up. Yeah, that really lowered the water level. Yep, look at that. Turned right on right away. Don't know if you can see that. Yep, there you go. That'll happen when you have air in your water line. I think I have that problem because, I have the hose is too long. So I'm going to cut this hose shorter, and it won't have a lot of curves and twists. Oh, just a quick note. I did not end up using these two pieces, the elbow joint and the clamper that holds it in place. I may end up using them, but for now, I guess if it pops out and I get a big flood, I'll definitely want to use this one. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. All right, thanks so much.